Morning everyone. So we're looking forward to hearing from a couple of things today. Tapio is going to call in and we'll have a half-hour session with him this afternoon at around about 1600 UTC, 4 o'clock UTC and 5 o'clock here in France. He's just going past 9:30 in the morning here. The current positions that you're looking at were actually about half an hour ago. They were at 800 UTC. And we thought we'd do an English tracker update now, and late this afternoon we'll do a French live tracker update, and we'll look forward to hearing from Istvan on the phone as well later today on SoundCloud, so keep an eye out for that. We're still a bit unsure exactly what's going on with his steering gear. Anyway, for now we'll just give you a rundown on what's happening, and I think the first thing I should point out is that Suhaili's position is actually going back to, what's the date there, 16th of February, so it's actually 5 days old, and Tapio's position is current, so they're having a bit of a race at the moment to see who's going to get first back here to Les Sables d'Olonne, and Suhaili's due back on the 22nd of April or thereabouts. So we'll see, and not sure about Tapio at the moment. Tapio is falling behind Suhaili. Suhaili would be up here somewhere, and that's a race for these guys. Anyway, good to see Tapio's making good speed this morning. He's doing 4.8 knots, which is surprising because if we look at the amount of wind it's showing there, there's not a whole heap of wind, so I reckon he's got a spinnaker up or something like that, absolutely going for it. And that makes sense maybe. Let's have a look at the waves. The sea's probably, this is getting down into the 1.5 2 metre realm now. This is the 2 metre, this dark blue, and this is possibly 1.5. So seas will be getting better. Everything's looking quite pleasant out there for Tapio at the moment. And if we come over here to the leaderboard, Tapio's got 5,664 nautical miles to go, which is quite a way. If he can make 3.4 knots average VMG, he might actually get there by about the 30th of April, based on the averages over the whole course. So that's only a week late. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. We really would love to see him here for that lot as well. Anyway, the beginning of the horse latitudes is about to kick in for Tapio, so we'll put that down here. Just focus in and let's look at what he's going to get for the next 24 hours. We just push it ahead. Still going to be the same. Good reaching breeze coming from the west-northwest. We go forward another day to the 23rd. A following breeze, but it's lightening off, so it's moving around a bit, and he's going to come into this sort of area of a lot, just light stuff. We go forward another day, possible light headwinds, so he'll be not liking that. Light headwinds is not good when you're dragging barnacles. Come forward another day, it pushes around again, so if it's the 25th, that's 4 days ahead. Let's say he might be 400 miles or so in front. 400 miles on this scale. He's going to be up here. Well, that's not too bad. He's got a light westerly, so he'll be pushing forward on that. That's kind of cool. So we'll just assume he's around about here and carry on with the weather. Give him another day, and where we go. It's a good breeze. Okay, so he's moving on that, which is pretty good. It looks like it's just jumped forward a couple of days. That's not too bad. He's going to get a bit of a trough come over with a bit of a no wind zone, but if he can get up here, it's still coming from the east, so that's on the beam as well. So if we look at the big picture now, just scale that out, you can see what's going on. This is the trade wind belt normally here, okay? Remembering here's Rio, that's where Antoine called into, and the other guys, when they're coming up, they had these strong southeasterly trade winds zipping through there, and of course Tapio's got nothing. He's got this sort of real mismatch. The trade winds have gone right up high just prior to the doldrums, so the seasons are definitely changing. Big moons at the moment, big tides, so just wondering what the current's doing. Let's have a look just for the hell of it. That's interesting. That's another reason why he's going fast. Look at that. He's been hooked into a really good shift there. So yeah, wow, isn't that interesting? I was just thinking he seems to be going too fast, and that might be why, because if we look at he's just entering the fastest zone of this current, and when it goes blue, Let's just get down here, a good idea. So he's gone through green, 1. He's going into a 2-knot current there, so that might explain it. Sorry to do that to you, Tapio. We're all thinking you're doing great guns, but it's 4.8 knots, and probably at least 2 of those knots are going to be for the current, and maybe even more, because these current forecasts tend to be a bit conservative, like the wind forecasts, where you get, if they're forecasting 30 knots, you've got to allow up to 10%, 20%, and up to even 30% more for wind gusts. So that gives you, if it's forecast 30, you're going to get 40. So just as here, if they're forecasting, 2 knots, you might be getting 2.5, maybe even a bit more. So anyway, he doesn't care. It's all pushing him towards home, and we're happy about that as well. So it looks like pretty reasonable conditions for Tapio. He's still enjoying it, so we'll go back to the real-time weather now. We'll skip up and look at our 2 having their own little race here. I'm going to put up for questions and answers for English, which I'll do on the weekend, probably Saturday, and I'll answer all your questions about all the issues associated with Uku's time penalty. It was a very unfortunate situation, kept us really busy for 36 hours when it was all happening and trying to get everything up and running, but we got it all up. And I'm sure plenty of people have got plenty of questions, and we'll explain it as best we can. We all really love Uku. He's a pure gentleman, and things happen, unfortunately, and that's the way it evolved. So we'll talk about that. And one of them is the issue of, where do we get the time penalty from, as in, for the original 4.5 days. And I'll explain all that as well, because it has relevance to Istvan directly, because in those situations you talk about the next ranked sailor, and that's how it evolved. But anyway, for now, Uku's doing okay. He's doing 6 knots, heading out to the east-northeast, and poor old Istvan down here, he's pulled into the calms that we talked about. This is the transition zone between these big North Atlantic systems and the northeasterly trade, so he's only doing 2.6. So let's just we'll focus on Uku first, because it's easy to see how this system up the top is actually driving the weather that Istvan's going to get. So I'll just pull it down and you'll see what happens. A few people have been wondering about the storm. The storm's not going to go anywhere near Uku. He knows that. He's getting good weather. So just clicking this through every 3 hours, you can see he's got a good westerly there. He'll just keep pushing along in that direction. All the heavy weather is above him, and he just got perfect sailing now. He's got a good northwesterly there. He'll be making the most of that, making good speed. And within 24 hours, you've got this other little zone here of no wind, and that's going to envelop him, so it'll slow him down for maybe 12 hours or so. This is the big superstorm. It's decreasing a little bit, but nonetheless, this is the one we were talking about that was due to arrive on the 23rd, and then true to forecast, it's doing exactly that. You can see here, if we enlarge this is why it's so intense, because you go for these colour gradients through to the blue. You've got a really intense one. It's not as bad as it was forecast 4 days ago, but this zone inside here where it's going to dark blue again doesn't mean it's decreasing. It means it's going to the next level and increasing even more. So you've got good forecast 65 knots there, which means it's gusting higher, and you wouldn't want to be in this zone because it's going to swing around really quick. Anyway, just decreasing that again and coming back to Uku's progress. So this is late in the day tomorrow, and I'll keep clicking it through every 3 hours. You can see just all good sailing for Uku. He's going to be making that track out to the east. He's going to get some solid winds here, but it's all from the right direction. It's just going to let him go fast. And if we build that up, that's going to give him 40 knots, maybe a little bit more, 45 knots even, but from the perfect direction. He'll take that on. He'll probably still keep heading out to the west, or out to the east, northeast, or maybe even northeast, and having a great ride. It's going to be very fast for him, so that will help him on his way with his food situation, that's for sure. So we'll keep clicking that through, and you'll see that passes over pretty quick, and then he just comes back to beautiful sailing, because he'll be up here in this zone by then, making good progress. Then it becomes a northwesterly again. All good news for Uku to keep him moving. So if we let's just pull it forward, 25th, still good breezes because he'll be further up. So that's the 25th, that's 4 days ahead. So let's just do a distance. 4 days with the speeds that he's doing, that's going to be easy 500 miles. So he's going to be right up there-ish. He'll be somewhere around here by then. So you can see his speed will be determined on what course he does. If he holds more out to the east, he'll get in this lighter zone. But if he runs the edge, runs his barometer, as a sailor, you can use your barometer to run a pressure gradient, and that's what you'd usually do. You'd say, right, I want the strong winds, so you start going into the centre of the system, and as the wind increases, you say, right, that's as much wind as I want, and now I'll alter course and follow the barometric pressure. If it goes up, you're going too far one way. If it goes down, you're going too far the other way. So you just keep riding your barometer, and you can run these slow-moving systems and make the most of the weather. And it's something that even sailors don't know you can do. It's a lot easier if you've got a faster boat. You can ride it for weeks, but with a slow boat, eventually the system's going to pull away. So, but anyway, I'm certain that Uku will be watching his barometer as well, trying to work out the best options to make the most of it. But certainly no storms. Some people worried about, Uku might be worried about the storms. They're nowhere near him. He's got good sailing. So, so that's kind of cool. And we'll just take it forward to the next one on a big picture basis to see. Here's the finish line. That was probably a little bit much here. Okay, if I put Uku over there, you can see there's the finish. So that's the 25th. If we come forward to the 26th, remembering Uku's up here, that's not a bad ride. Go through to the 27th, some light winds now. But if he's up here, it starts going north, he's going to get a ride, so it'll depend on his course. But either way, there's some favourable winds to keep him moving well towards the finish. This is 2 days ahead to the 2nd of March. Now, then it starts to change a bit, and you'll see some differences going on here, but too far ahead. That's way too far ahead to be realistic on the projections. So anyway, but he's got a really good run there, and let's just now see what happens to Istvan. He's coming into this trough. Or an area of no wind between the two systems. I'll just bounce it forward every 3 hours and see how long he's going to sit there. That's coming up to, this is 22nd now, which is tomorrow, so that's 24 hours. So he's got at least 24 hours of going nowhere. That's the first thing. And then, even then it's light, but he'll start moving, but only ever so slowly, and the whole zone is light winds. So that's through to the 23rd. Now we're going through to the 24th. He's still got zones of no wind. So that's 3 days ahead. So that's 8 o'clock in the morning on the 24th. So 3 days later, you'll find Istvan still sitting in this zone. He's going to have plenty of time to work on his steering. He's really trapped there for quite a few days. So not able to do much. This is the 25th. So 4 days ahead. You'll finally get breezes, but it's not that favourable. He's going to have to go out here on a north-northwesterly direction, but at least he'll be moving. And then if you look at the prospects again, the weather, if we zone back, it's getting a little bit more traditional up here again. The whole systems have moved up, so the northeasterly trades have come back and re-established themselves, so he'll just be pushing through that, but then he's got another zone up here, and who knows what's going to happen. It's a bit far to go ahead. No storms, no dramas, but not much progress for Istvan. I think Uku will now pull away, and that is the name of the game. So that's it. See you later, and remember a couple of sound clouds today, and one of those with Tapio will be live for 30 minutes asking all sorts of fun questions about his rounding around Cape Horn. Bye.